So far, I have gotten around 30 booked calls, probably roughly $1,000 in ad spend. My cost per call is around $15 total.
Holy cow, that's super cheap. Number one, most people don't get 30 sales calls in the first 3 months. Most people have 0 because they sit around and they do one cold call and they wonder what happened.
My biggest issue so far has just been taking that verbal yes and actually, converting that to money in my pocket.
It tells me that you're either not digging for enough pain or your offer just isn't resonating. It's one of those two. All right, guys, today here I'm with Aaron. Aaron's been in my school program for all my active GoHighLevel affiliates for, I want to say, about 4 or 5 weeks or so. And this should be the second video of me bringing on people just randomly once a week from that group on here to kind of do a whole audit of their AI agency and help them A to Z with where they're at to get to whatever their goals are. So Aaron, quickly, do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, so I'm 17. I found Carson's YouTube video around 3 months ago, and that's kind of just how I got started. I watched the 10-hour course, went through everything, built everything. And I've been trying to use AI to make money for a while. I spent a lot of time using Claude code to try to build stuff, make money off of it. Just didn't really have the skills to do any of that. So I was really kind of searching for some more direction, trying to find something that was proven and kind of just follow that. And that's what I found.
Cool. Awesome. And I know you've already seen some progress a little bit in the past couple months of doing it. So I'm sure we'll head all into that. But I guess the initial thing is, do you want to tell everyone the niche you're in, how long you've been in the niche, any clients, if any, right now, and just kind of like overall background and context of things?
Right. So I'm in the solar niche right now. The reason why I chose the solar niche is because I have a background in cold calling for solar. So I just found it was the niche that I had the most general knowledge around. So that kind of worked out pretty well.
Cool.
Yeah, I in terms of calls, every other business model I've tried that is involved getting booked calls or talking with business owners, I have gotten 0 calls. I haven't been able, 0. And so this is the first thing that I've ever seen progress in that metric-wise. I haven't really seen anything in any other industry that I've tried. This is also probably the thing I've worked hardest at so far. But so far, I have gotten around 30 booked calls in probably roughly $1,000 in ad spend. Cool. I've had 3 or 4 verbal yeses. One of them might potentially be going through this week, but he's just been super flaky. So it's kind of like if he decides to go with me, great. If not, I'm all good. But yeah, I'm happy that with the progress I've seen so far. I'm just ready to get my first client and ready to get the ball rolling.
Cool. Heck yeah. Cool. So in that case, then, so you've had a lot of sales calls. So have the way you've been booking on these sales calls through the paid ads?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Only paid ads.
Gotcha. And then what's your service and offer? Is your offer and service just the simple kind of stuff I talk about where it's paid ads plus the AI caller? And then, I don't know, is it like 10 solar sits or appointments in 90 days or what's the offer?
Yeah. So currently I market pay per result. So I market pay per sit. I don't really like doing pay per appointment because I try to take as much risk out of the equation for the owner as possible. And if I'm booking them bad appointments that aren't sitting, then it doesn't matter. So I do pay per result, pay per sit, and I also do have a pay in full option. So I kind of did that offer stacking that you talked about where you have a pay per result where they have to spend more in ad spend, but there's less upfront. And then I have a pay in full where there's more upfront that they don't have to pay as much in ad spend.
Gotcha. So it's like a downsell.
Right.
Cool. And so if you've had 30 sales calls, you're booking sales calls for around like $30 per?
Less than that. I probably burned $250 at the beginning trying to market pay in full.
Okay.
And so after that, my cost per call is around $15 total.
Holy cow, that's super cheap. And that's just through pay per results on the ads on the front end?
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Solar's an extremely cheap niche. I don't know why. You would think that, there aren't very many solar companies. But yeah, I don't know why. And one thing Ethan was talking about, I saw in one of his videos, Ethan's a guy who's also in the solar niche. Carson just did
been on my channel. Yep.
He was talking about most of the booked calls he was getting were with reps. That's honestly not what I've found. I found that most of my booked calls have been with owners, usually around that 40 to 50% show rate still. But there are some quality issues there. So it's probably roughly $80 to $100 for a good quality call.
Okay. So that means out of 5 calls you're getting, like 1 is qualified. So can you tell me real fast what is the stats overall? So like out of 30 calls, you had X amount that no showed, you had X amount that canceled, X amount pitched, X amount closed. Super quick intermission. If you want to be on calls just like this one and get direct one-on-one help from me every single month completely for free, I have a top link in the description below where you can sign up for GoHighLevel. For all of my GoHighLevel affiliates, I give away so much free stuff, from 5 weekly Q&A calls with people from my team and including myself, where I jump on every single week to ask questions. So whatever you're struggling with, you can show up to the calls and bring your questions to me, alongside a full-on community of people absolutely crushing it inside the group that you can meet, become friends with, and ask questions to as well, and 10 hours worth of content and trainings around starting your own AI agency with bonuses that you unlock every single month. Then I want you to sign up for GoHighLevel. You get 30 days completely for free with the top link in the description below. And you have the chance of being on calls just like this one, where every single week I jump on and I pull pretty much one name out of the entire group and jump on and do a quick AI agency audit. And then that gets uploaded to YouTube like this one. So if you want my direct one-on-one mentorship and all the things I just mentioned, plus 30 days completely for free, click that top link in the description below, sign up for GoHighLevel, and then I'll see you guys inside. But back to the video.
So out of it's probably closer to 35, 40, but out of that, I probably had 20 that showed.
Okay.
And out of that 20, I would say 10 of them were qualified. And out of that 10, I got 4 verbal yeses.
Okay.
And my biggest issue so far has just been taking that verbal yes and actually, converting that to money in my pocket, which I'll kind of get into how I've tried to fix it, and you can kind of tell me what you think.
Sure. Well, super good stats, firstly. Like, your cost per call is crazy good. And are you just running image ads, video ads? Image, just like Ideogram or Canva or something?
Yeah, well, I use Claude Design. Claude Design I found is the best at creating image ads.
Okay, cool. So, right, and you're running ads right now as we speak?
No, not currently right now.
Okay. Budget problem, or just you ads fatigued?
I didn't have time slots this week to even book calls in, so I turned them off.
Okay, understood. So I guess with all this calls so far, these 30 calls, these 30 sales calls, you have really good data. So I have a feeling it comes down to your sales. What's the goal for you? Are you trying to close super high upfront amounts on these calls? Are you just trying to get a free trial client? Like, you've worked with 0 clients so far, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what's the intention on these calls? Are you pitching 2, 3, 4, 5K? Or are you just saying, I'll just do free work for you for 3 weeks just to get experience? What are you doing on these calls?
So on these calls, I'm obviously going pay per result first. That's kind of the route I'm trying to, lead them through. So for some context, my pay in full guarantee is 30 sits in 90 days off of $50 a day in ad spend. And as much as I would love a company paying me, $5,000 up front, I also don't know if I want to take on that risk, because I've never ran ads for a solar company before. So I don't know. I know it depends on state. Like, maybe I'm running ads in California. Their cost per appointment might be 5 times more than another state. So I also want to minimize risk on my part. So I've kind of been pushing more for that pay per result. And I think it's more of I think before it was mainly a sales problem, and there obviously still is a sales problem because I'm not the best at sales ever. But
sure.
Now it's more of a budget problem.
Okay. So what's the price you're pitching on these calls?
Pay per result, 0 up front, and then pay in full, $4,000, and then $50 a day in ad spend. And also pay per result would be $200 a day.
So pay per result, you're pitching $0 up front, but they need to spend $200 a day. The pay up front model.
They pay me $250 per sit that I get them with pay per result.
Along with $200 a day in ad spend though, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And then the pay up front is $4,000 with $50 a day in spend.
Correct.
Okay. So first thing I'd be doing, and if I were you, is I want you to start getting clients in for the experience. I know it sucks. I know it's the answer you're not going to want to hear, but I'll reference this again, but this challenge I've been doing with Connor, which probably is out on my channel by now. It's kind of where I took my friend from 0 in 7 days. And I guess the spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched it is we closed 4 clients in 7 days, 2 of them being paid, 2 of them being free trial. The first 2 that he closed, keep in mind, he's never ran a business before or anything. We spent like $300-$400 or something like that on ads to get all that result, by the way. The first 2 clients that were closed were free trial. So I told him, I said, the goal of this challenge, like a win for you, would be just getting a client that says yes, and you can get the experience and work from them. And it's not because the money or the whatever you're going to get from this client is so, crazy. It's not that at all. It's the experience that you're going to get is now going to fuel your next 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 clients. Because if Aaron, maybe if you were on these calls and you were showing an ad account with a bunch of appointments being booked, if you're showing a client that you could reference with a case study, if you're showing these things, maybe it wouldn't just be verbal yeses that don't follow up. You'd actually be getting people who follow through and they go pay you 3, 4, 5K, right? Because you have social proof and you have conviction. Conviction is the most important part, which is on these sales calls, you actually can back what you're saying with data. Right now, I know how you're doing it. It's just, you're kind of just saying things and you're just hoping that when you get the client, you can fulfill, which is fine. Everyone has to start like that. But I think you'd be so much better off just taking some of the clients and taking the punch right now, because the payoff in the long term is going to be so much higher. Does that make sense?
Right. And I have actually tried to do that for a couple, because you, a few weeks ago on the Friday call, you told me to kind of just go into things with a take what you can get mentality. And so that actually helped a lot, just going into calls with that. And I think I may have actually gotten 2 people to agree to free trials. And after the calls, they just ghosted me. So I find when people don't have any commitment to anything, whether it's free, when it's free, they also don't perceive the value as very high. So
correct.
It's pretty hard to get them to follow up. But also maybe I've just had bad luck with clients being super flaky and not responding to me ever. I figure enough ad spend and they got to respond. Like someone's got to.
Yeah. As much as I want to agree with that, like after 30 calls, you'll definitely know if it's you or it's them, So it's like, what I'd be telling you in your scenario is here, and I want to just give you actionable advice you're going to take after this call. So the first thing is, I'm sure you could be doing better on your sales calls, but the way to mitigate the commitment of people just jumping on calls saying, yeah, let's do it, and then jumping off and never following up with you again is some sort of upfront commitment. Okay. There's no way around it. The only way someone else can really be incentivized to win on their part and win and make it like a partnership is they have to have some sort of skin in the game. That's it. It's kind of like if you went to someone and said, lose a bunch of weight, you're going to pay me $0 as a personal trainer, and I'm going to train you on how to lose weight. They have zero interest or zero skin in the game really to want to lose weight, right? Which is why, like, even if we look at the psychology of people that win with online business, it's actually the people who pay for courses on average, believe it or not. And it's not because the course was great. It was because that person who paid for the course, let's say 3, 4, 5K for that course, or even 1K, they had to put the financial commitment down to say, look, I can't waste my last few dollars with this business model. This course may have sucked, but I need to commit anyways and make it work. And that's exactly what happened with me, right? Iman Godzi's course back in the day wasn't the best course, but it financially committed me to be where I am today. So the way you need to be going about this is on these calls, out of 30 calls, let's say you just start pitching $250 as your upfront cost for a down payment or commitment fee. Like one thing Connor did, which was pretty smart in the challenge, is he was pitching like $500 and he would just frame it as, look, the $500 that you're going to pay now comes out of the commission or whatever the flat fee we get when we book you a job or when we book you an appointment. So it kind of just seems like free to an extent because it's just like an account towards when you get them that job or that listing appointment, whatever it is, right? So that's a super low barrier way of doing it. And you get the money up front, you get a 3-week trial of a client, and you can just get free experience. I'd be stacking those clients. That's going to liquidate your ad spend, so you're not going in the hole. And it's also going to get you all the experience needed. So once you do start charging 2, 3, 4, 5K for your service, you've got all the proof and the conviction in the world to make it happen. Does that make sense?
Okay. That does make sense. That's super smart. I've never thought about, taking the $250 or however much the upfront fee is just out of what they're going to be paying you to get the commitment. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's super common because I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes or in my shoes when I was starting. Like, it was hard for me to go out there and go pitch $250, even though it's such a small amount. It was one of those things for me where I just felt like there's no way someone's going to say yes to this. And to mitigate that feeling, what if this $250 or $500 they're going to pay me for 3 weeks just counts towards when I get that result for them? And it's just money off, So if they make, I don't know how much, $250 per sit per appointment that you generate, for example, the first 2 appointments for them are essentially free, right? If you're charging $500. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. I like that.
That's good. I think that's how you got to approach your sales calls going forward. Don't be charging anything crazy. Like, we just need experience. I just want you to get clients because that momentum is going to help you so much in the future. But around your actual sales calls and stuff itself, I feel like everything as far as your ad stats are good. I feel like I don't even want to like give you advice on that because your cost per call is already insane, sub $20. Yeah. And your show rate's also good. You said it was around like 60%, right?
It's a bit under 50. It's like 50%. So it's not great.
Okay. Walk me through the flow of what happens when someone books a call and what, you're sending them.
It's just, it was whatever's in your snapshot, the reminders and the email reminders. I finally got the A2P set up. It took me about a month and I failed it, I think 8 times, but yeah, I got that set up now. So I'm not manually sending the text, and I have seen a bit of an improvement in show rate from that. And yeah, I've actually gotten a few compliments regarding that. Like people, I don't know if they're compliments, but people mentioning the fact that they got blown up so many times that they had to jump on the call. And I'm like, well, yeah, I practice what I preach. Hopefully these homeowners will do.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like it's perfect. And that's why I also say like running paid ads to book your own sales calls in your agency is the best form of acquisition anyways, because let's say someone jumps on a call with you and they're saying to you, well, I don't know if you can really help my business with what you're telling me. Well, then how are you on this call right now, right? The way you got on this call is the exact same thing I'm going to be doing for you. So I obviously practice what I preach and I spend my own money on ads because I know what I'm doing. But overall, I'm sure, okay, so if you're just using the snapshot, so like a quick checklist, do you have breakout videos on your pre-call page?
The pre-call videos?
Well, you have the pre-call video at the very top, which is where you give the expectations. Then you have what's called breakout videos, where you address certain pain points or objections that come up in the calls. Those. Cool. And you're sending them confirmation texts with pre-call link in there. You're sending 24-hour reminder, 1 hour and 10 minute.
10 minute, yeah.
Okay.
All of those.
Cool. And then the last kind of piece on the cherry on the cake, I guess, with that is, are you calling people once they book a call? Like, do you get a text from GoHighLevel when someone books a call, so you just get notified and you call them up real quick?
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay. Start doing that today. We've seen, and even just my agency, we've seen a huge increase in just like, we had a client the other week who my closer called them up the morning of. So they booked an intro call for tomorrow to like this morning, right? I'm just giving this happened like a couple weeks ago, but my closer called that person up immediately, same day, within like 20 minutes of them booking a call, took the intro with them on the spot, booked him for a demo the same night, closed them on that call that night, right? So we were gonna wait 2 or 3 days for them to take that intro call, and then probably another 2 to 3 days after that to then have that demo call. We did it all in one day just because we had speed, Yeah. And that's actually part of the reason that person bought.
I saw that in an Alex Hormozy video. I think it's called pull-up calls. I think they saw like a 4x difference in one of their top sales reps. The number one sales rep was making 4 times the amount of sales as the number 2. And that's what he was doing. As soon as a lead came in, he would call them and then book them for the same day. I really don't know why I haven't been doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's common, right? Like when I look back my early agency days of like running my real estate marketing agency, like, dude, I wasn't calling leads when they opted in, really. Like, and it's just kind of like the lazy human mind, but it's like at the same time, if you're a sales dog and you're like a shark, you're going to go do whatever you can to get that person on the phone sooner. So, super easy. Please be doing that. But other than that, I would say that could probably bump your show rate to like 55, 60%. And when you're in that range, that's pretty industry average, if not above average. So I would tell you like no problem with your show rate. So overall, everything seems fine up to the call. How are you conducting these sales calls?
So one of my biggest issues has been discovery. I've kind of figured it out a bit more. It's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes I do a good discovery. Sometimes I feel like the business owner is being a bit pushy, trying to get past the discovery. Most of the cases, it's like, I don't know if I really want that client because they kind of seem like a dick. But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing like 10, 15-minute discovery, and then I'm going into my pitch. I'm sharing my screen. I have the pillars breaking down everything I just made with Claude Design. And so, I just go over that. And I mean, I don't think it's...
So you're doing a pitch deck. Give me an idea of like how the regular call goes. Does the first so you're going discovery at the start, right?
Discovery at the start. just asking them questions about their business, really just trying to figure out how much they're making, what's their close rate, like how much are they making per deal, because that's super important for the solar niche. If a company is only making $2,000 per deal, going with me does not make sense at all. And so that's where I found a lot of times people just aren't making enough. And it doesn't make sense to go with me.
Okay. And what percent of the call would you say on average is the discovery versus the actual, rest of the call?
20 to 30%.
Okay. Too low. Way too low. So is it like kind of sectioned off where it's like 20 to 30% is discovery, 30%, 40% is pitch, and then 20% is objection handling?
Yeah, I would say it's around like 30% discovery and then 40% pitch and then 30% objection handling.
Okay. Yeah, you want to move that discovery up to ideally 40 to 50%. Because one thing with these sales calls and what you're telling me is like if you've had 20 people show up, you've had 10 qualified people show up. Obviously, I know you've had verbal yeses, but like we know what a verbal yes is. Like it doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. It tells me that you're either not digging for enough pain or your offer just isn't resonating. It's one of those two. Or the way you're positioning it just doesn't sound appealing to the prospect. So based off what that just said right there, I'm assuming it is 1,000,000% because you're not asking them pain invoking questions. Like, for example, in this challenge I recently did with Connor that obviously went up on my channel, the last 2 days I took some sales calls for him because he was super sick. And he saw the difference of me on my calls. And like, he said something. It was like, I had this like bull energy or something where it's like, I jump on the call and it's just like, I just like ruin any sort of like objection this person's going to throw at me. I completely like it collapses. Like I just kill it. Right. And, that come down to me asking the right questions. And he really saw what a good discovery looked like, because I'm assuming like you've gotten pretty good since you've had a lot of calls. But when you look at someone who's good at sales, and I'm not proclaimed the best salesperson, but I've had a lot of reps in the game. You ask intentional questions. You don't just ask questions because it's written down on your list of questions to ask. Right. And that's the key part, because Connor was asking questions that just I wrote down on a list for him, and he wasn't expanding off of it. He wasn't really going deeper into the pains and the problems and like truly jumping on the call with the energy of how can I help this person rather than how can I help myself. And if you can do that, dude, I'm telling you, that's going to help your sales ability so much more when you can adopt that mindset. So I guess long-winded kind of like response to what you said, but genuinely your discovery needs to be better, and you need to bump that from 20 to 30% to being 40 to 50% of the call. Right.
And I think
that makes sense.
I am expanding off of what they say. I read Never Split the Difference, and it kind of goes into that like mirroring and everything. But I'm definitely not expanding into pain, which is one thing I noticed that you do and your sales guy does. Yes. And I think it's probably just because it's uncomfortable. Like
it is.
That's kind of
what
you need.
Yeah, it's like, dude, because it was a long time since I really taken sales calls on this challenge. And again, since Connor was sick for the last couple of days, I wanted to just, for the video, kind of show how it's done. And dude, I was so excited on these calls. Like I was like, I enjoyed the confrontational conversation, or like the talk of like, oh yeah, I got to go think about it. Or, oh yeah, I got it. Like, I love to hear that, because now I can just destroy it. And like both of the calls that Connor was on some of them, but like the 2 paid clients, they were me. I got payments on calls. Both of them threw a ton of objections at me, and both of them got payment on call, and that just came through the right questioning and the right response to their objections,
That's crazy.
So you'll see it when it comes out. It's probably out by now when this video's out, but I think you're overall in a pretty good spot. Do you have other questions around like obviously I've kind of given you a roadmap to do going forward. Do you have any other things top of mind you're like concerned about?
If I were to do the 250 and then just take it out of what they are supposed to owe me when I actually get them appointments.
Sure.
Am I going to have to change my marketing for that? So my marketing, my best performing ads have been, you don't pay me anything until they show, like solar businesses, the whole shebang.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't change anything. Your cost per call is crazy, and you're not lying. Like it's just, at the end of the day, all you're really getting is, you're not getting $500 to get rich off $500. You're getting $500 because you need commitment that they're actually going to go through with it. And they're not going to just say yes on the sales call and then fall off the face of the earth. Right. So the intention is there. And also like, just like you're going to fulfill on the service for them. So it's like, no, don't change any ad.
Okay. Yeah, one thing I was trying to do to kind of, I haven't gotten very many reps at actually testing this. I guess I got one and the person still ghosted me. But I made an onboarding funnel with Claude Code, kind of like your client fulfillment video showed. I made one like that.
Sure.
And I think the issue there, because I think that was a free trial client that I was trying to get. And so I sent him the link and everything. Have you noticed any, I guess you get payment before you even send him that thing, so that doesn't even apply to you. But my first step on that onboarding funnel was too difficult. It was like submitting everything for A2P. And so at least for that, I thought, okay, maybe the first step needs to be a bit easier. That way they can start it. That way they at least feel like they have some commitment towards finishing it. So that was one thing I did that I thought might help. But yeah, no, that's really good. I'm definitely going to start doing the 250, 500, however much, just taken out of what they're going to pay me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and of course they're fronting all the ad spend. So it's not like you're taking any sort of hit there. And it's like your job at the end of the day is just to, stack a ton amount of evidence and conviction in yourself that you know what you're talking about with your service and you've fulfilled on it for other people. And if it meant not getting that $5,000 upfront payment, but rather $250 or $500, but that then fueled and allowed you to then go charge the big amounts. It's kind of like a little bit like delayed gratification. But it's needed because, and I was saying this to someone else, but it's like the competition is so easy to win. And I can already tell you're a pretty hard worker. And if you can just like go at it, because like most people, number one, most people don't get 30 sales calls in the first 3 months. That's number one. Most people have 0 because they sit around and they do one cold call and they wonder what happened, So you've already beat people in that sense. And I hope this is good for people to watch because Aaron is an example of he's taken action. He's just had some parts that were a little bit rusty or that they're not refined, which is obviously why we're on here today. But like, dude, competition, bro, like there's a guy, I'm going to shout him out again. I think I did this in the other video, but his name's Greg Lav. I don't know if you've seen him on Instagram, but you should follow him. He's the founder of like Bloom energy drinks. This guy is like, he's like entrepreneur try hard, like he's like 31 years old. He's beat the game, does like 600 million a year, like crazy. And he always talks about, and he's like, dude, it has never been so easy to win because your competition is literally asleep. And I'm sure all the competition in your niche and everything, you could smoke them. And I love how Alex Ramosi always says you can get to like 5 to 10 million a year in any market in almost any industry, right?
No matter
what that math is. Yeah, that's like 500 a grand to $1 million a month, So it's like you can do that in anything. So we're talking here about 10, 20, 30 grand a month. You got that. You just got to give it time and you got to take the right actions.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest doubts I've had, and I know other people have. Like in certain points of time, I've had a ton of doubt, like, oh, is this market too saturated for me? Is there even room in the market? And I just got to kind of remember, like, there are people making billions and billions of dollars. Like 10 grand a month, 30 grand a month is pennies.
They make that while they're probably on the toilet, in the day. So, yeah, I mean, it's all perspective, and I've gotten to see more of it as I've kind of gone up the ranks, but I always thought at the start too, I'm like, dude, there's no way somebody really makes 30K a month. 30K a month, there's no way. But then when you get there and when you get beyond there, you're like, dude, this is not only regular, but it's actually below what is regular. So it just levels up your standard as you go. But overall, I think you're on the right path. I think you just got to take with what I told you here, run with it, take action with it, and hopefully come back on this channel in a couple months, maybe once you've smacked 10, 20, 30K in a month and kind of talk about all the things you did. But it'd be very obvious if you did succeed with what you did, because I think you've already gotten a lot of the foundational stuff set up at this point.
Yeah, no, getting everything set up took a good bit. I think a lot of people they go through your course, they're just trying to kind of hide behind a screen. One of the hardest things for me was making those pre-call videos. It took me forever. And I know it's going to be one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I know for a fact just getting those pre-call videos have knocked a lot of people out. But no, I've actually gotten a lot of compliments on them. I think I've gotten 2 or 3 people who came onto the call, like telling me that I knew what I was doing because I put those there. And so
that's wonderful. Yeah, exactly. It's the stuff I talk about. Like, it's all boring. It's all simple. It's all basic. But at the end of the day, it's the stuff that it works, right? I don't say it for no reason. Like, I've battle tested at my own agency, and it's why I give it out, obviously, today here on the channel and stuff and inside the school group for you guys. So, yeah, dude. And I last thing I'll say to you is, like, good job on showing up. I feel like I have seen you on a lot of my calls on Fridays inside the group with everyone inside who uses GoHighLevel. And, I feel like you've been pretty attentive, asking questions. And obviously you're on here today and you're not afraid to ask questions. And I said this somewhere else as well, but like, I remember when I was starting, and I feel like a lot of people, they get kind of a little bit scared to ask questions or raise their hand or whatever to ask the guy they watch on YouTube. Dude, I'm like the most chilled back, relaxed, like ask me whatever you want. I don't care. You know, so it's like, good job on showing up in that sense as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Aaron, it was a good conversation. Hopefully you got some value out of this, and hopefully people watching also got some value out of this. And yeah, hopefully you'll come back on the channel in a couple months once you start crushing.
Thank you very much, Carson.
Easy. All right, bro. It was a good chat. We'll chat soon.
Sounds good, man.
See ya. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, I give away free calls just like this one and do AI agency audits with members inside of my GoHighLevel affiliate community, where I give away 5 weekly Q&A calls, including calls with me every single week that you can bring your questions to, 10 hours worth of content and trainings around building and starting or scaling your AI agency regardless of what stage you're currently at, weekly bonus drops of resources that I wish I had that I give out from my own AI agency that you get access to completely for free, and a full-on community of people crushing it that are probably just like you and scaling up their AI agency from 5, 10, 20, 30K a month and more. I give away absolutely all this completely for free for those that use GoHighLevel using my link. So I'll have a top link in the description below in this video where you get 30 days completely for free when you sign up. And if you're an existing GoHighLevel user, you can still get access to it on the page as well. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys inside the next one and hope to see you inside the group.